Greetings and welcome aboard the USS Ineptitude. I am your Captain Slab Tilt, and welcome to a video where I'm going to show you a little behind the scenes stuff. So on the left here I've got the all the code that operates this game here on the right. Now what I normally do is when I'm playing a game I record my footage so that I can catch a few things of the mistakes that I wouldn't normally catch if I'm playing the game, because there's lots of distractions in a pinball game. So I record my footage, then I can play it back, and then I go in the script and make all the changes. That's the best way to sort of an update or create a pinball game, in my opinion. And it's why I make them so damn quick, because I'm able to record the footage and then just go in here and make all the changes pretty quick. So this is a massive remake of a very popular game, Star Trek: The Next Generation, a Williams classic. Now, the original game was created a long time ago, and the code in it is good, but it's very simple by today's standards. So I'm going to use all my skill and all my knowledge now to make this into a modern game. So it's a much deeper rule set, many more features than exist on the real machine. In fact, I'll show you up here some of the new things that I've added. So we've got new LED lighting, we've got new characters, we've got professional reorchestration using the motion picture soundtracks. We've got improved rules for all missions and features. We've got LCD, obviously, with new animations and clips. We've got the command console, which enables the player to create strategic commands during play. We've got an action button now, which is on the lockdown bar, which enables the command decisions. We've got a tractor beam on the right outlane save. We've got power of Q, which is a 30-second immunity. We've got strange anomaly, which is when the center scoop is hit when nothing is lit. We've got mystery encounter, which is a hidden hole behind the upper right flipper. Yep, there is a hole now behind this flipper where you can get the ball into. We've got Klingon attack, which is a random Klingon encounter when these two targets are hit at any time. We've got the transporter match, where if you win, you continue playing. We've got buy a ball, where if you earn enough points, you can trade those points for an extra ball. So that's just some of the features that I've added so far. There's going to be much more when I'm finished, because I'm only up to season 1 at the moment. I'm just basically watching every episode of all the seasons, and as I go along I add stuff to this game. So I'm adding stuff from season 1, then I'll add stuff from season 2, 3, 4. I have no idea which of the seasons is the best, but I'm enjoying season 1 at the moment. So what I'll do is I'll play the video on the right here and show you the game, and then I'll show you in the script exactly what's happening. So this is the attract sequence. So the attract sequence is quite easy. Let's go into the attract sequence. So the attract sequence has all the individual lights are all programmed using a simple binary. 1 is on, 0 is off. So all of these individual lights are all programmed to blink to a sequence that I configure. And the colors will all change because all of the lights on this game now are LEDs. So there's a command here which tells the lights to change color every 2 seconds. So they go through a color cycle. So that's the attract sequence. And that just says game over, press start. Because there is a coin in the machine, all you need to do is press start.
That's affirmative, Commander.
So I put a coin in, and Georgia LaForge says affirmative, Commander, and his little screen thing comes up there. Now we're starting the game, and here's Captain Picard about to say something interesting.
Helm warp 1, engage!
Okay. So let's go to that in the script, see what happened. Sub reset 4. So reset for new game is when the game actually starts. Now we've got many ways to start the game. This particular one plays a movie clip with a piece of music. The other way is it plays one of 18 different quotes. As you can see here, these are all individual quotes. So there's 18 different quotes that can play when the game starts. Now, for any single action on a game, I try and add as many quotes as I can so that every time you play the game, something different happens. So it just feels fresh every single time. So at the moment, there's 18 different ways of starting the game, 18 different quotes with all kinds of different characters. So I went with the movie clip on this occasion, and I've skipped it because you can press the action button and skip it.
Screen off.
So he just, Captain Picard says screen off. He turns off the screen and he just gets on with it. Okay, so now we've got the ball in the plunger lane, and now we've got the options to scroll in here for the skill shot, or the launch options, should I say. So this is the flipper skill shot. Now the flipper skill shot has changed because I have now added a Q shot here. And if you hit the Q target, you will get the power of Q, which means you get 30 seconds immunity. You can also hit these two targets here and the ramp for the standard skill shot award. But I'm going to aim for the Q thing here, the Q target. So let's go there in the script and see what happens. Sub target Q. All right, so here's the Q target. So the Q target is this little fella up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it during the skill shot. So the skill shot here we are, flip skill shot mode. Get the special Q skill shot award. So when I hit it, it's going to go to this command here, which is this subroutine, if I can find it. There we go. So SSQ is
Here she goes.
You have the power of Q.
So SSQ is an identifier saying that during this flipper skill shot, I hit the target Q. It's an identifier that I added. So what happened? Well, we got a voiceover, VO, which is power of Q. You just heard that. And it plays a corresponding video, well, an LCD graphic of, who is it? Data. So Data says you've got the power of Q. And you get a sound effect, and there's a bit of a light sequence thing going on, and you get 10 million, I think, as well. Now, and this also raises, it starts a timer called Q power. So Q power is now activated for 30 seconds. So if the ball drains, the ball is immediately returned because I've got the power of Q, which gives me 30 seconds of immunity. Now, if we look at where that was, so let's have a look. Random. I've got to remember the name of all of these subroutines. Here we are. So the ball drained and Q power enabled equals true. So I played a sound effect of a nebula, some light sequences, a few flashes went off, and then there was a music cue, and then there was the actual graphic that came up here saying, what was it that says? I can't remember now. I think it said Q power. Let's have a look at that again.
Then here she goes.
You have the power of Q.
Q power immunity. So it operates for 30 seconds. So it just overrides the ball saver. You just get your ball back regardless of what happens. That is a feature added to the flipper skill shot, because I know that nobody goes for the flipper skill shot. Why would you? So now I've added an extra incentive to go for the flipper skill shot, and this adds, a pretty cool sound effects and light show.
Q, what are you doing here? Let's play a little game.
All right, so now we've started the Q challenge. So let's go to that subroutine. Start Q. Okay, so this is the whole process of starting the Q challenge. And again, you'll see there are multiple ways to start, depending on if you launch from the warp ramp or not. In that case, I didn't launch from the warp ramp, so I just went with the standard starts, which are actually in the original game. If I'd have launched from the warp ramp, I have these options, which is the 7 different ways to start that. 7 different quotes that play. Again, to keep it fresh and exciting. So because I didn't start it from the warp ramp, we've got a standard start from the actual real game.
We don't have time for your game.
Andiana.
Okay, I had to do an edit there because I did add an Easter egg, a sexy Easter egg, which is for adults only. And I can't show that on YouTube. So going back to the Q's challenge.
Game penalty.
Now this is a new feature of Q's challenge, the game penalty. Now if you hit any of the scoops and it's not lit, you actually Q will hit you with a penalty. And what he does is he reverses the flippers for 10 seconds, which is a really annoying, very easy code to do, and I don't like it when they use it too often in other pinball games. But on this occasion, it's Q, and Q is supposed to be irritating and annoying. So when he reverses the flippers, it fits that character. So I now have reversed flippers, which means I have to flip them both at the same time, which is what I'm going to do.
You have the power of Q.
Game penalty.
Power of Q as well. Flippers are still reversed.
The
the micro brain.
Now, there's lots of new quotes when you make the shots. I'll just show you some of those. So, there we go, micro brain. So, when you miss a Q shot, I've added these quotes. So he says, micro brain, too adult, that's not it. This is a joke, fat chance, distrust, amusing. So there's just a few there. There will be much more as I go through the seasons and watch more episodes where Q is a character. So at the moment I've only got 7 different versions of when you miss a shot. When you hit a shot, there are 8 different versions here, and they all play in a sequence, so you don't hear the same ones again. So it's like it's a playlist. Now I keep hitting the game penalties, so the flippers are going to be reversed again. Now up here is the IQ rating. You start with an IQ rating of 140, which is a Starship Captain's IQ, I believe. I don't think you could pilot a starship with anything less than 140 IQ, which is genius level. But every time you miss a shot, you lose 10. So now I'm down to 100, which is average Joe IQ, because I keep missing the shots. Now the idea is that if I complete the mode while maintaining 140 IQ, I will get the artifact.
Perhaps now your manners will show some improvement.
Okay, so I didn't complete that mode, I didn't get the artifact, my IQ dropped to 100, and this is how it ends in the script. So end mode, and he said that one there, so it picked one of 4, and he said manners, so that's the one he played. There's also end of queue, there's lesson, and there's assist. Now that's when the mode ends, when the ball is still in play. But if I go to the drain, if the ball drains while playing queue, then there's a whole bunch more quotes that will play. So this is what happens when the ball drains. There are 16 quotes that play when the ball drains. So he's got a lot to say, his queue. I think on the original game you hear about 3 or 4 quotes, and that's all you get. On this one there are tons and tons of Q quotes. So that is handled in the script. So that is the Q mode.
What is the purpose of this?
Now that's what I call the strange anomaly. It's a new feature that I've added. So let's have a look at that in the script. So that's main. So this is the main scoop. When that little thing up there is hit, this is the program for it, and so it's called main scoop here because I call it main scoop. So that one was, so there's quite a lot because it's quite a big deal, is that shot. But I went down to the anomaly here. So yeah, subspace distortion, purpose. So this plays in a sequence. So these are all the things that will play in sequence every time that is hit. When it is not lit, you have to actually light the start mission. When it's not lit, you will go through all of this stuff here, which will eventually lead to something. So I thought that was fun.
Don't make mistakes.
And the ball drained down the middle, so there are more quotes just for that. So let's go to the drain section in the script, and let's go down to all the different quotes that play when you drain the ball down the middle. So there are 18. So one of 18 random quotes will play when the ball is drained down the middle. And there's quotes that play, different quotes that play when the ball goes down the left or right out lane. So that's where, I don't know what he said then. I think he said it all, yeah, there we go. So number 10, we all make mistakes. And so this here tells me who he was speaking. It was Picard. He is number 5. And I set his graphic to appear on the LCD for the length of the clip, which was exactly 1 second with a slight delay. So that's that makes sure that the character, whichever character is speaking, their graphic comes up so you know who's speaking. So Picard is number 5. I think 7 is Worf. 1 is Beverly Crusher. 6 is Riker because he laughs at you, and you got Worf laughing as well. So there's lots of different things that happen when the ball drains. You want to hear those funny quotes. Now what I did there is I held the ball. Well, I moved the flipper to the left where it said start mission. And what happens is when it's locked into start mission, these will automatically start to rotate. So you just launch on the one that you want. So these will just go through a cycle. So I launched it on Asteroid Threat.
Suggestions. We can destroy the asteroids on our path, sir.
I'm a bit burpy today, so let's go to Asteroid. I'll start Asteroid. Okay, so this is Start Asteroid. This is the all the stuff that deals with that mode is handled here in this subroutine. So Start Asteroid. So what did we get? We got a suggestions. So this is actually from the real game. It just basically says suggestions, and this is the first time you play Asteroids. When you play it again the second time, it's a much shorter version and it just gets on with it. So these missions have to be completed successfully to advance. You don't just play them and then they light. You have to actually complete an objective. And what happens is if you don't complete the objective the first time, progress is saved and you can go back and continue where you left off. So on this occasion, I've got to hit this to blow up the big asteroid, which breaks it off into 7 little asteroids. And then so I've got to take out 7 little asteroids. So that's all taken here. So this is what happened. We had the alarm went off. Condition 1, alarm went off. It went off after 2.8 seconds, and then it was turned off after 5.3 seconds. There was a graphic that came up on the LCD screen. There's the suggestions. The music track was selected as 6. The music changed after 3.5 seconds, and then the ball was released at 5.3 seconds, which is what's just happened.
Make it so. Well done.
So I got the big asteroid. Nicely done. So it says there on the LCD that the shield is inactive. Now, I have the option to raise shields. Now these lights are off. Now, if I raise the shields, all these lights will come on and it will protect the hull of the Enterprise. Now, when the asteroids hit the ship, if the shield is down, the Enterprise will take damage, and it can only take 3 hits before the ship is destroyed. So it's a command decision. Worf will ask you if you want to raise shields, and it's your decision as captain of the Enterprise whether you want to raise shields or not. It's a new feature that allows the player to make command decisions. Nicely done. Now the reason I haven't raised shields is because you only have a limited amount of power to use the command decisions, and they are more useful when the ball is draining here. You can quickly divert power to have the ball return into play, so they're more useful for that than raising the shields. But if you don't raise the shields, like I said, the ship will take damage and it will end the mode much sooner than it would normally. But I'm confident in my aiming ability, so if you continue to aim and make the shots, then the impact timer resets. I think it's like 7 seconds each time. So it resets back to 7 seconds if I make a shot. So if you're confident with your aiming ability, then you should be able to get through this without taking any damage whatsoever. And of course, that's the artifact. You only get the artifact if you complete this mission without taking any damage at all.
Captain, recommend we raise you.
So there was Worf. That was the first impact to the hull. Worf asked me to raise shields, and before I had a chance to do anything, the ball is already lost, and failure. Knocked out from 7 asteroids. Let's share another mission.
A rift. The rift is certainly not stable. It could collapse at any time.
So this is time rift. So let's take a look at that in the code. Time rift. Oops. It's actually called start time rift. Okay, so I do put a little explanation in here. This isn't for me mainly because I work on so many pinball games and I forget. So when I come back to this after a few years, I look there and go, oh, that's what this does, because I've got to write down everything, otherwise I forget. So this one I have a difficulty of easy, and I've explained what it is. It's the Enterprise has entered a time rift, cascading it uncontrollably through time. Objective, timer starts at 20 seconds and 5 shots are lit. Shoot them for 10 million each. Each target also adds 5 seconds to the time and 5 million to the total. Increase in total value only works 3 times. I think that's how it is. I probably will make this a little bit more exciting than that. So what I've done here is, again, this mission has to be completed successfully. So now you have to make 5 shots to close the rift. And every time you make a shot, it goes down by 1. So now it's 4 shots.
There's something here. I feel it.
Okay, so Diana Troy has popped up saying something about she can feel a presence in the rift. So let's have a look at that. So target rift. So I hit at rift targets, which are these two here. These are the rift targets. So there's 1 and there's 2, and they pretty much do the same thing, whichever's hit first. And so we are in time rift mode. So it's rift target hit. So rift target was hit is what just happened there. So let's have a look at that. So as you can see here, is like a sequence. So the first one says I feel it. The next one is quite normal. That's Beverly Crusher that says that. And then there's distortion. I think that is I can't remember her name now. The blonde one that was in season 1. And then we got Geordie who says never seen. So there's a sequence there every time you hit those 2 targets.
The balance of the readings are quite normal.
So now it's Beverly Crusher. The balance of the readings are quite normal. So you're seeing that the biomechanical or biological things are quite normal. It's all techno babble. But its job is to immerse the player into the experience.
I'm reading a severe subspace distortion.
Natasha Yar, that's it. So she's saying distortion. So that's what she's come up and says here. So that who ate is Natasha Yar, and she says there's a subspace distortion. Again, techno babble, but it puts you into the scene, immerses you into the experience.
This is something I've never seen before, sir.
Lock on tractor beam.
Okay, now that's the new feature as well. Now that's a tractor beam. Now if one of these lights will be lit, and if you hit it when it's lit, you will activate the tractor beam, and when the ball is heading out, there's a trigger here, the ball will be pulled back into play using a tractor beam. So that stops these awful cheap drains on this side. And on this side, obviously, we've got the kickback as well. So the ball will not drain as much as it does in the original game, which is a major, major problem.
This is hopeless.
And as Worf saying, this is hopeless. So I think I'm going to start another mission. One more, I think.
We must proceed with our rescue mission.
So this one is Rescue Mission, or Rescue Queue as I call it. So let's have a look at this one. Start Rescue. So what happened there? Well, we had a piece of music which started to introduce it, which was tuned to go with the actual DMD. We've got Picard saying Rescue Mission, but he doesn't say that until 3 seconds. So there's a delay of 3 seconds before he says we must start a rescue mission. It's Who 5, so it's Picard. And the length of the quote is 1.5 seconds. So that's what's just happened there. And then we do the K6 release, which is this is the K6, kicker 6. The ball comes out here after 4.5 seconds, and then the clock starts after 6 seconds. So this clock starts just as the ball touches the playfield. So this is all happening in the script. And then this is where the DMD is processed. This is the clock. This checks the passengers that you've collected and all of the bits and pieces. And this is what happens when you end the rescue. Either you're successful or you fail, and there are different quotes for each one. So now the transporter is ready, so we can hit that and we can transport 5 crew members back to the Enterprise.
Energizing, sir.
So let's go back and have a look at the main scoop subroutine. So the main scoop was hit. We are in rescue mode. Let's go down. There it is, rescue mode. So if crew is equal or more than 5, which it was, so we hit the scoop and we energize. So again, there's 6 quotes for that. And I think the one that was said there was energizing, which was said by Data, but there are 6 different variations of
Energizing, sir.
Twice in a row.
Stand by transporter room.
Did that one's now, stand by transport room.
What I want is for everyone to escape.
Now that's Picard getting pissed off because you were supposed to rescue everybody. He will not accept failure. Now that was a failure because I didn't rescue everybody. I think on my version of the game, it's you have to rescue 30 crew members. I think on the original is 50. But yeah, I didn't do it. I failed. And Picard says, you know, he wants everybody to escape. So I'll have to go back and finish it off.
Work back to form.
So that's all new as well. That doesn't happen in the original game. Now I have the ball shooting out of a VUK, which is hidden here, and it shoots the ball along a ramp here, which makes that way more exciting than it would be on the original. Because I've taken away the warp ramp. There's no warp ramp anymore. There's just a single scoop for more accuracy. It does exactly the same as the warp ramp, only you don't have to hit it with as much power, and it allows me to do other things as well. And I've widened this as well. This command hole is much wider, so it's easier to hit from this flipper. And like I said, there is a hole behind this flipper now for a secret, what I call a mystery encounter.
Tractor ready.
Tractor beam ready.
So that's Tasha telling me that the tractor beam is ready. So I hit the target on this side. So the tractor beam is now activated. So if the ball goes down this lane, it will be pulled back into play and then dropped into this lane.
Not good.
And that's Wolf telling me that's not good because that dropped down the middle. So let's just check that. So it dropped down in the middle between the flippers. So there's specific quotes for that. Come all the way down. What did he say? He said not good. Not good. Not good. There he is. Not good. Who is Worf? And the length of the quote was exactly 800 milliseconds. So that was done, picked at random. A random number, 1 of 18, was picked when the ball went down. Flippers.
Energize.
So this is all new as well. I added this graphic for the ball match sequence. So if you match the numbers, you actually get an extra ball and you continue to play. You don't get an extra credit, which is useless. You get an extra ball and you continue playing. I don't think I get it on this occasion.
Security override request. Picard, Jean-Luc, Captain, USS Enterprise.
But on this occasion, because I didn't use any command power, I had full command power when the last ball drained, which means I can do a security override and continue play.
Request control access.
This guy knows all the tricks, doesn't he?
So again, that's a new feature. If you don't use, like I said, if you don't use the command control feature, you can continue play when the last ball drains.
Hold on tight. This could get rough.
So wormhole is pretty much the same as the original, I think. What I plan to do with this is just add a little bit more excitement, because what I've done is I've added this sort of data analysis thing here. So as you go through the wormhole, you collect data, and the idea is to get 100% data analysis. So this will go up by increments up to 100%, and that's when you know you've completed the objective. So you gather the data. So I've made a slight change. But essentially, you are just taking the flashing shots.
Steady as she goes.
But I need to try and do this. It's going up. So you snap to 40%. There's the timer on the DMD as usual.
You have made a grave miscalculation.
Had you propelled the ball on the proper trajectory...
Captain Picard is familiar with that data.
So that's the shut up Data thing, which I think on the original it just says, "Thank you, Mr. Data." Well, I added a hell of a lot more, obviously, and including Deanna Troy there has a little go at him as well. So that's kind of a funny thing. Now, no, that only comes up when you fail to make any shots. So when you don't make any of the mission shots at all, Mr. Data will say something funny, and then you can interrupt him.
Energize.
So now we're back to the Energizer.
You were the other man. I would kill you where you stand.
You've done well. Something to write home about.
So Worf wasn't happy about that. And we've got all kinds of different quotes as well for the high score entry. No two games will ever be the same. I mean, you can play this game for months, even years, and probably not hear all the quotes that I've added to the game, because some of the quotes are so obscure that you probably won't even hear them unless you make a certain combination of shots.
Yes!
And then we have Data. That's from the film Generations, when he has his emotion chip fused into his brain, which I thought was fantastic for the high score. I couldn't think of anything better than having Data do that for the highest score.
Consider the first time a run-through, a rehearsal, to shake out the flaws.
Space.
So that's the end of the game. So let's just take a look at that. So sub end of game. So just prior to that, we have the high scores. This is the highest score, the position 1. This is the one that played the clip that we just saw of Data. If you get the second position, you see the flyby of the ship, and it plays the music from Generations, and then Picard will say outstanding. And in the third position, you'll get a little bit more variety. You get 6 variations of things that they'll say, and another clip as well. And then everything else just goes straight to the end of ball sequence. Yeah, so that all leads back to the track sequence. And as you can see, we're back where we started. Now, I'm just going to show you very quickly just the sheer number of quotes that I've added to this thing now. There are about 400 new quotes that I've added to this thing so far, after just watching season 1. On top of the original games, massive quotes from the original cast. Now we've got an extra, 300 or 400, did I just say? From extra members of the cast as well, not just the original cast that are on the original game, but there's all these extra members of the crew as well, like Will. Is it Will? The Crusher's son, that little kid. He's in it. And of course, you've just seen Tasha Yar. She's in it. And there'll be other ones as well. Whoopi Goldberg will be in it, I'm sure, when I get to that season. But these are the quotes.
State the purpose of your visit here.
Now that happens when you hit the Strange Anomaly. So that is, if you know Star Trek Next Generation, you'll know which episode that's from.
Program ready.
So there's tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of quotes. Most of them are in. Maybe there's about 10 or 20 I haven't found a place for yet. But this is just because of season 1. I've got to watch season 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's 7, isn't it? The last one. So there are going to be hundreds and hundreds more quotes going into this. And more ideas will go into it as I watch the show. So that is a little bit of a behind the scenes look of how I construct these games and how I do it so quickly as well. It just helps if I have the video of my gameplay here, so I can just review what I've just played, because you will miss things if you're playing it and you sort of like pause and write notes down. That doesn't work. You've actually got to record the footage and then review the footage, so you see everything, like that light didn't light, quotes overlapping, the wrong piece of music played, the flasher didn't go off. You're looking for all of these things, all these imperfections. Ultimately, what I am trying to produce is one big, perfect playing game with every single conceivable bug removed, and that's what I'm aiming for. It's going to take several months to actually get this to a point where I could actually release it, And it will be released once I get 10,000 subscribers, like all my games will be. So I might do another follow-up video to this as I progress further, but I hope you found that interesting. This is by far the best part of pinball creation, is writing the script. This is where all the creativity happens. You know, the script writer is the film director or the captain of the ship. You know, the most important person in the whole process is the person that writes all these words, because this doesn't mean anything at all unless this is all working to make it all run smoothly. And I mean everything: the sound effects, the music, the lighting, the video clips, the DMD, all has to work in perfect harmony to create the best possible pinball experience. Okay, well, once again, thanks for watching. Toodaloo.